What we're going to show you now is how to go ahead and place the quilt top, the batting, and the backing onto your frame. We have it completed here, but we're going to go ahead and show you how we actually did this. Along with this, we're going to have Judy Allen working on a different frame, but showing you the proper way to pin and the proper way of placing the fabric so that you will be better educated on the right way to attach your quilt tops, your backing, and your batting on. So let's get started. We have the rails attached to our side bracket and our center rail attached to the bracket here. We're going to go ahead and now show you how to put the leaders on. The shorter one actually says finish leader take up rail. So that's going to go on your center rail. Your top rail, or the one that's away from your belly, is called the finish leader rail. And the one closest to you here is called the finish leader quilt backing, and it will be the closest one to you. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and show you how to attach the Velcro, because these are Velcro leaders. We're going to go ahead and measure our pipe all the way from the left side all the way to the right to see what our distance is. We have our table set up at 60 inches, which is 5 feet. So we're going to come back and we're going to find center, and center is going to be 30 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a magic marker, and right in center position we're going to mark, and that is our center. Now, because this pipe is so close, we can go ahead and just mark that one right on center, so we have both our top fabric and our backing fabric pipes marked. We're going to do the same thing for the center bar, so I'll mark that one. Our Velcro that comes in the packet is 108 inches long. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and take this and mark center mark. What I did is I just took the Velcro and cut it in half so that we can actually find our center mark in this position here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Velcro. Okay, now that the Velcro is cut in half, I have to fold it in half to find halfway mark on this. So I'm going to go ahead and place a mark on the Velcro. So that is actually my center mark on the Velcro. I'm going to peel the sticky back. And right where our center mark was at, I'm going to take that and I'm going to slide that all the way across the pipe. I'm just going to come back and smooth that sticky back to where it adheres to our pipe. I'm going to repeat this process 2 more times, one for our top and one for our finished fabric, but I'm just going to go ahead and put another nice good mark on that Velcro so that we know where the center line is. So again, we'll just do this one for here and one for the finished fabric. Now, as you see, we've actually got all 3 fabric rails with the Velcro on, and they have their center mark on each one that we'll be able to now go ahead and put our cloth leaders on and attach our quilt. On our Velcro cloth leaders, you'll notice if I went ahead and attached it from the box that it is way too long. So it's your option of what you want to do here, but if you do cut these, then you will have to buy a second set if you end up extending your table out to 10 feet. We have it set up at 5 feet here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to fold this in half, and we're going to go ahead and cut our 3 leaders so that it has set up here. But again, if you cut it, then you will have to buy a second set if you do decide to change your frame. My leader is now cut in half, and at this point I have to fold it in half, and we have to find center mark on our leaders. So what I'm going to do is, again, magic marker, I'm going to go ahead and mark on the part that has the Velcro, and the opposite end where we're actually going to pin the material on, or our quilt, So now I've got it attached. I'm actually going to walk around to the back side of the machine. It's a little easier to attach. I'll move the machine over to the right side, and where my black mark is here, my black mark here, I'm going to go ahead and line it up, and I'm just going to take that and slide it from the center to the outside. And that's how it's going to have the material come into it. But we're actually going to go ahead and pin from this side when we pin our quilt top onto it. But that's how we put the Velcro leader on that. Now we'll repeat the same process for our top bar and our backing bar. We'll show you how those attach. We're working on our fabric well that actually will hold the top. Again, I've got my center mark. We're going to place it in, and we're going to go from center out. Now you'll notice that on this one, it's actually going to come underneath the bar. And then it's actually going to be going underneath this way. Now we're going to repeat the same process with our other bar, which is our backing bar. However, on this one, it's going to go the opposite way. It's going to be our center mark here, and center out. Center out. And you'll notice that on this one, it goes over the top, and the one goes underneath. So now let's go ahead and attach the quilts. We have our quilt backing, and we're going to take our quilt backing and we're going to find center on quilt backing. I'm going to place a little mark. I'm going to take the fabric, the backing, and place it right over the top of our two rails and go right over to the back so that it actually drapes on the front end and gives us a little bit of tension on the fabric when we go to pin to the back side of the quilt frame. Now on the back side of the quilt frame, we're going to go ahead and find our center mark here and our center mark on our So once we've found the center line on our cloth fabric, we can go ahead and attach this, and we're going to go ahead and pin from the inside out. Okay, we've now finished attaching our backing material to our quilt rail fabric. So now we need to go ahead and take and move this over to this position, and just go ahead and roll it up just a little bit. Works about in this location to start with. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to the front and attach the backing to this rail here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the fabric and we're going to come from the underside and let's just go ahead and just roll this one up out of the way for our tap fabric so it's up and we can see a little bit more what we're doing. And here's our leader that we're going to go ahead and attach this to. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fold our fabric in half again to find our center mark. Put a little line in place. And you can see how I have the leader coming out like this towards laying flat down. At this point, we're not even using the numbers that are on the leader itself because they're actually face down. We're just using center mark on our leader with our fabric, and we'll do the same process, pinning from the inside out. We have now pinned our backing to our fabric leader. We are ready now to go ahead and roll that onto this pipe. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and take the fabric, get it nice and tight coming over, and roll it right in position. And as we're rolling, we're just kind of just moving the material and feeding it to the left and to the right. And we're going to do this all the way until we get our fabric on this position. Now we're just about to the end of rolling our backing all the way onto our front rail here. And as you can see, we're starting to come in. What I like doing at this point is going ahead and rolling the fabric back onto the finish bar on the inside. And I go ahead and roll that in all the way. And I'm making sure as I'm going, I'm adjusting that fabric. One thing I'd like to make note on at this point here is you'll notice that the backing, it's face down. So that when you're doing this, you can see the face of the fabric here, but this is the backing. You want to make sure that it is to where the backing is face down. So we've actually rolled it all over onto to the finish bar. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and roll it back. What this does is it just helps tighten up the fabric. Not too tight, but it just kind of just straightens everything up as we're getting ready to quilt. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and roll all of the fabric right back into the rail that's in this position here. And we're going to show about an inch of the leader in this part here. We'll just go ahead at this point and go ahead and attach our locking knob down at this end here so that our fabric is a little bit taut. And we'll go ahead and use the locking ratchet here, and now our fabric for our backing is nice and secure. Not too tight, but nice and comfortable. Okay, here's our quilt top. We're going to go ahead again and mark our center. We're going to drape the quilt top over the back side of the frame where it's hanging off the back. And we're going to pin to the front side on this, so we'll make it nice and even coming all the way to the edge. And we'll just move the machine over to the far left side. And then we're going to move our leader to the front, and we have our marks right here. And we're going to take this quilt top and line it and center it up. And again, we're going to pin from center to the outside, center to the outside. Okay, we've pinned our quilt top to our fabric leader for that. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and just take the fabric, put it to the back, and we're going to roll it right onto our fabric pole. So at this point we'll just go ahead and just start taking that right on back. And as we're doing that, you can see that we want to just go ahead and make sure that we're nice and straight, nice and even as we go back and forth. We just clean up our pieces as we're going along to where it's going in nice and straight. And we'll just continue this until we get all the fabric rolled onto our quilt bar. Now we're almost finished rolling our quilt top onto our batting, our bar, and as you can see, it's coming right over the top and it's lining up nicely. What we're going to do is we're just going to make sure that we're lined up right into where we pinned into this area, so that's looking pretty good. The one last thing that we need to do now is put our batting into this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and just take our quilt top and just kind of roll it back just a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and put our quilt batting right underneath there.